Greetings, and thank you for making time to tune into this POAA awareness video about consignment sales commissions and some serious issues with commission calculations that impact every Pepperidge Farm DSD owner. What is the true meaning and intent of the contract provision that establishes published prices as the critical variable for DSD consignment sales commission calculations? Was the original intent of that contract term to grant Pepperidge Farm the unbridled discretion to calculate weekly commissions at a rate of 20% of any wholesale prices reflected on any business records that Pepperidge Farm wants to designate on a nightly basis as published prices? Or was the original intent of that contract term to obligate Pepperidge Farm to publish prior written notice of the permissible unilateral modifications to its Schedule B price lists, with the wholesale prices reflected in that industry standard business record serving as the published prices that could apply to the fixed rate of 20% for weekly commissions? POAA leaders firmly believe that it's vitally important for DSD owners to understand that there are some serious issues surrounding how consignment commissions are earned under every version of Pepperidge Farm's consignment contract. And this presentation supplements several other excellent POAA videos that explain both why Pepperidge Farm's refusal to provide DSD owners with industry standard price lists is yet another unreasonable exercise of undue control over its independent DSD partners, and why it's important for DSD owners to check out the companion video that POA also released today so they can easily calculate their losses attributable to Pepperidge Farm's unauthorized commission discounts for its nonsensical trade promotions without trade spend. Every version of Pepperidge Farm's standard form consignment contracts includes a schedule entitled List of Consigned Products, subject to modification per paragraph 10. And there's an identical provision in that schedule that's arguably the most important contract provision for DSD owners because it establishes that commissions shall be calculated at the rate of 20% of the published prices in effect from time to time for consigned products. It's the only contract provision that deals with commissions. It expressly refers to the list of consigned products in the singular because the original intent was to replace a previous practice of publishing one fixed distributor price for each consigned product with a new practice of publishing one bulletin price for each consigned product in effect for weekly commission calculations. From the inception of Pepperidge Farm's DSD network until today, the original intent of the consignment contracts was for Pepperidge Farm to periodically publish its price lists in the industry standard form of business record that the company first established through the list of consigned product schedule in every version of the contracts, and to apply a fixed rate of 20% to those published prices to determine commissions due to DSD owners. Although Pepperidge Farm executives acknowledge that the company must honor its obligation to publish prices for weekly consignment commissions, they nevertheless stopped publishing industry standard price lists and started advancing some specious claims about the contract term published prices being subject to reinterpretation, because at more than a half a century after the company first established industry standard price lists as the published prices for commission calculations, the present slate of decision makers decided that the four corners of the contracts do not clearly define exactly how Pepperidge Farm must honor its obligation to publish prices. And insofar as the parties plainly intended to grant Pepperidge Farm the right to set any prices it wants for its consigned products, the parties must have also intended to grant Pepperidge Farm the discretion to publish prices in any manner it wants for retail chains because they're direct customers of the company under the contracts. Believe it or not, Pepperidge Farm executives also now argue that the company has the discretion to publish different wholesale prices for the exact same consigned products during the exact same time period in effect for commission calculations, which is a highly questionable practice under the fair trade laws, as we'll see in a minute. The formula to calculate weekly consignment commissions is pretty straightforward. 20% of X, where X is one published wholesale price in effect for each consigned product in Pepperidge Farm's list of consigned products. It's pretty interesting, if not highly suspicious, that Pepperidge Farm stopped publishing its industry standard price lists at the very same time the company started using more than one wholesale price for a single SKU. For example, Pepperidge Farm charges Walmart a lower wholesale price for 30-ounce bulk cartons of goldfish than every other similarly situated retail chain. Although you wouldn't know that fact by analyzing your weekly consigned inventory reconciliation settlement statement because Pepperidge Farm doesn't openly account for it. The contract term published prices was used for commission calculations since the inception of Pepperidge Farm's DSD network because that broad, unambiguous term originally referred to the distributor prices used for commission calculations under the Yellow franchise contract during the early days when the company was focused on production, and franchisees focused on selling and distributing consigned products and billed accounts, collected monies due, and remitted 80% of the weekly revenues to Pepperidge Farm. And it was reasonable for published prices to also refer to the wholesale prices known as bulletin prices, a new industry-specific term that's expressly defined in the green franchise contract and blue distributorship contracts in connection with chains, another new expressly defined contract terms. Those two new contract terms were necessary for Pepperidge Farm to reverse the billing process for what's known today as chain billing, where the company bills accounts, collects money due, and is supposed to remit 20% of the weekly revenues to DSD owners as consignment sales commissions. Ironically, the change from distributor prices to bulletin prices and distributor billing to Pepperidge Farm chain billing was necessitated by a need for better compliance with fair trade laws, like the anti-price discrimination law that prohibits manufacturers from charging similarly situated retail chains different wholesale prices for the exact same product because it unfairly empowers manufacturers to manipulate wholesale prices to pick winners and losers in the marketplace. A brief look at the evolution of Pepperidge Farm's consignment contracts will plainly establish that the original intent of the parties was for Pepperidge Farm to publish only one bulletin price for each consigned product and one Schedule B list of consigned products in effect for weekly consignment commission calculations. The next few slides are self-explanatory, so I'll keep quiet while give you a chance to take a close look and pause if need be. Even a cursory comparison reveals that handheld price lists are not even a close equivalent to industry standard bulletin price lists. Although Pepperidge Farm allegedly publishes handheld price lists to its handheld network on a nightly basis, those lists are incomplete, inaccurate, and, more importantly, they fail to provide any notice of permissible paragraph 10 modifications or bulletin price changes, let alone notice of the effective dates for those changes. Handheld price lists are meaningless to DSD owners because they deprive owners of the ability to verify the accuracy of wholesale prices reflected on invoices, credit tickets, and other distinct business records, such as Pepperidge Farm's weekly consigned inventory reconciliation settlement statements, which are purportedly a complete and accurate accounting of commissions earned. In addition, handheld price lists are simply snapshots of the prices in effect at the moment that the list is printed. Despite Pepperidge Farm's claim that it publishes handheld price lists on a nightly basis, it's impossible for DSD owners, Pepperidge Farm, or anyone to print the handheld price list in effect for, let's say, July 1, 2017, September 3rd, 2022, or any other day than the day that the list is printed. Consequently, handheld price lists do not satisfy Pepperidge Farm's obligation to publish prices as prior notice for consignment commissions because the ephemeral nature of the electronic snapshots is akin to a verbal announcement, whereas a published writing is an archive that can be referenced in the future to ascertain the prices in effect in the past. Indeed, DSD owners, Pepperidge Farm, or anyone can refer to Pepperidge Farm's industry standard price list and determine with certainty the published prices in effect on July 1, 1967, September 3, 2014, but not yesterday or any other day since Pepperidge Farm stopped publishing its industry standard price lists.